Hello guys, how are you getting on? You're very welcome to a new series on the channel called The Verdict. So this will be a weekly series in which I talk about the football that has just happened over the past weekend. I'll give my views on it and I'll see what you guys think. My video discussing the Ireland game did very well, so I'd like to thank everyone for that. So I decided, why not try and make a series out of doing videos like this and see how they go down, because he seemed to really enjoy the last one. So without further ado, let's get into episode 1. We're going to talk about the Premier League games that have just happened over the past weekend. Starting off with Super Sunday then, and it was Derby Day as Man City took on Man United in the Manchester Derby and Liverpool took on Everton. That's the game we're going to talk about first. Now Liverpool fans will be gutted after this game, and a lot of them want Dejan Lovren to be shot, if I'm going to be honest. Their quotes, not mine. They really did look good in this game, Liverpool, going forward, but without really looking like scoring on a consistent basis. They did score just before half-time. Mohamed Salah, again, showing his quality. It pains me to see him doing so well being a Chelsea fan, but, you know, another brilliant goal, and he really does look like he's worth the money that Liverpool paid for him. Another brilliant goal to give Liverpool the lead. And at this stage, like, Liverpool had dominated the whole first half. You're just thinking, surely they're just going to kick on and thrash Everton for 4 or 5 here. That wasn't the case. So the second half rolled around and Liverpool continued to press until the last couple of minutes when Dejan Lovren decided to push Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the box and concede a penalty, with Liverpool missing an array of chances leading up to this, but still at 1-0. Lovren fouls Calvert-Lewin, penalty given. A very silly foul to give away if you're Dejan Lovren. The ball's pinged over the top by Rooney. Calvert-Lewin's kind of running away from goal, and Lovren, hands on the back. I think it's a blatant penalty anyway. A lot of people did. Jurgen Klopp didn't seem to think so, but perhaps he's just trying to defend his players in the press. But Rooney converts the penalty. 1-1 the final score, and for a lot of Liverpool fans, I know that felt like a defeat for them. Moving on to the second game now in Derby Day, Derby Sunday as it was yesterday, and that was the Manchester Derby, Manchester City versus Manchester United, and I think this game delivered what it promised. City having a lot of the ball, and Jose Mourinho and Manchester United very happy to kind of sit back and invite pressure, but I think when he was manager of Chelsea, he had the defenders to do that, and there's a few times this season where he's tried to do it against big teams. Oh, okay, it did work against Liverpool, but it didn't work from against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and it didn't work against Man City yesterday. City dominated the game, and really, you know, it should have been 4 or 5 in my opinion. It was 2-1. The first goal was a corner which De Bruyne took into the area. It's headed down by Lukaku, who got 2 assists for Man City yesterday. So, you know, fair play to Lukaku, 75 million, good deal, Man United. Yeah, David Silva puts it in, and Man City leading. And you're thinking, if they can hold out now till half time, they'll push on in the second half, because Man United, up until this point, hadn't showed any sort of attacking ambition or willingness or want to score and trying to hurt Man City. But they did score, thanks to a mistake by both Otamendi and Fabian Delph, and Marcus Rashford got in and slid it underneath the hands of Ederson to make it 1-1 at half time. So the second half got underway, and Man City started it in the ideal way. Another set piece this time. David Silva hit it this time, pinged it towards the back post, and Lukaku again. It's an easy clearance. He clears it off the back of the head of Chris Smalling, and Otamendi scores to make it 2-1. They went on into full-on defensive mode, and yeah, won the game by 2-1. Wasn't the most glamorous performance by Man City, but I mean, deserved winners in the end, and they look the real deal now. 11 points clear at the top of the Premier League, and you know, look like they're heading towards the title. Moving on to my team Chelsea now, and they were defeated 1-0 by West Ham on Saturday morning, thanks to a Marko Arnautovic goal, and any small hope or glimmer of hope that Chelsea might have had of retaining the title, in my opinion, was lost on Saturday morning. Not great defending for the goal, to be honest. Christensen gets caught following the ball, and Arnautovic tucks inside onto his left and buries it into the bottom corner past Courtois. It's the second time now we've lost to a team that's currently in the relegation zone. We lost to Crystal Palace a few weeks ago as well. And, you know, when you're trying to retain the title, there are games you need to win. And, you know, Chelsea just haven't been good enough in them games. But the weekend fared out fairly well for us in the end, because Man United dropped points, Liverpool dropped points, Arsenal dropped points. As Arsenal drew 1-1 with Southampton. Olivier Giroud's late header securing a point for them. Tottenham beat Stoke 5-1, rounding off the last of the top 16 games. They hammered Stoke 5-1 at Wembley, and Mark Hughes could be in trouble. If they get one or two bad more results, he could be out the door. So in the rest of the games, there was wins for Leicester, Huddersfield, Burnley and Swansea, and there was a draw between Crystal Palace and Bournemouth. Christian Benteke stealing the headlines there for not allowing anyone else to hit the penalty that would have won Palace the game later on. He missed it, and Palace had to settle for a point. So one more thing I want to talk about now, guys, and that is the Champions League draw happened today. And I think a lot of the English sides will be very happy, the majority. Tough draws for my team, Chelsea and Tottenham. Tottenham were drawn against Juventus, and I think it's a good time to play Juventus. I'm not saying they're playing badly, but they're not running away with Serie A like they usually do. Inter Milan are currently top of that, and are looking like a better team than them this season. And Tottenham will be happy enough with that, I think, to be facing them. Like, they'll be happy enough to, like, they could have drawn Real Madrid, they could have drawn Bayern Munich, and didn't. So I would add three big boys that they could have got. You know, they'll be happy enough with Juventus, I think. Speaking of being happy enough, as will the two Manchester clubs and Liverpool, who both got ridiculously easy draws, in my opinion, in the Champions League. Liverpool drawing Porto, Man City drawing Basel, and Man United against Sevilla. And you know, it's incredible that the three of them managed not to get Bayern Munich or Real Madrid. Speaking of Real Madrid, they drew PSG in, without a doubt, the pick of the ties. Something's got to give. Two massive heavyweights coming against each other in a really early stage of the competition, if you consider it in the grand scheme of things. Neymar against Ronaldo, you know, it's going to be a very, very big game. And finishing off with my team, Chelsea, who managed to draw Barcelona in the knockout stages once again. Now, we have bad memories and good memories of facing them. Obviously, the most recent one being the win over them in 2012, which eventually resulted in us beating Bayern Munich in the final that year. But we have one record on Barcelona that we're still going to remain very happy with, and that is that Lionel Messi still hasn't scored against us. But touch wood, he won't break that duck and score against us in the knockout stages. So a lot of interesting ties, and there are midweek games coming up now tomorrow and Wednesday, so they should be interesting. Leave a like if you want me to do a review on them games. Subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you later.